Thanks, Cheryl. You just took it away from me. Rob Melnichuk is with me today, the director of Western Canada for Yes TV. Now, Rob, you have a show out west called This Is Your Story. What was the reason behind creating this show?
Well, first of all, Maggie, let me explain it this way, too. 100 Huntley Street is a Crossroads production, as seen on Yes TV. It's the flagship program of Crossroads Christian Communications. This Is Your Story is a Yes TV production. And for many years, I've loved watching the Huntley Street interviews, the testimonies, the power of storytelling. And there's a certain scripture in Psalm 51 that really got my attention. It's where David says, "Restore unto me the joy of your salvation. And then I will tell others about my story, and they shall be converted." And as I was watching Huntley Street one day, and I was listening to someone tell their amazing story, they mentioned in the story, and I gave my life to Jesus, and there was a moment, but they carried on. And instantly I thought, I would love to unpack that moment more. And so This Is Your Story was birthed with the concept that I wanted to take a moment in that person I'm interviewing and say, okay, tell me that moment. Tell me what it was like. What happened when you say you gave your life to Jesus? Where were you? What did you feel? How do you know what was real, etc.? And so we try to capture stories like that of people's transformation and use that power of storytelling to change other people's lives.
All right, well, let's take a look at This Is Your Story.
And I just remember walking home and just like I remember looking up at the sky, and it was just like, if you can even hear me, like if you can even look at me anymore, I just need to know you're there.
Revealing, raw, and real. This Is Your Story is an emotional and inspiring series that investigates and celebrates the transformation of people's lives through the power of Jesus Christ.
And she just said, you know, Craig, Dad's not coming home. And that was the first time I'd heard it. First time it clicked to me that this wasn't like the other times my dad had been to the hospital, that he wasn't coming home.
This Is Your Story seeks out and captures miraculous stories of people who describe their Jesus moment, the moment that changed their lives forever.
It was my first experience where I actually felt the presence of God. And I'm telling you, goosebumps on goosebumps. It's not just about the feelings of goosebumps, but I'm telling you, there was a sense of peace and a sense of something that happened in my heart that was so powerful. And I said to the Lord, I said, I've never felt this good in my entire life.
With a wide demographic of personal testimonies, This Is Your Story demonstrates that no matter who you are, how many mistakes you have made, or how dark your life has become, the gospel of Jesus Christ will lift you into the light, and that truth will set you free.
I went from darkness to light, like that. And everything from that point on was new. And it still is. Everything was different. I never needed any deliverance. I never needed any counseling.
This Is Your Story brings these powerful testimonies to people across Canada on Yes TV and reaches audiences all over the world on digital platforms.
Maggie, that last gentleman was a pastor, Lauren Tabat. He actually is one of the leaders of the C3 Church in Canada. If you watch his story, it's an amazing story of transformation. But I wanted to read something because he actually showed his testimony to his church staff.
Okay.
And this is what he says. He says, Rob, I really want to thank you. The staff decided to play the story at our staff meeting today. They all gave a standing ovation, and everyone was crying at the end. But here's the important part. Roy says, Robert, I have told my story many times and thought they had all heard it, but the way we did it was amazing. The reason that's encouraging, Maggie, is because I wanted them to hear that part of Lauren's story. And they had heard him talk about Jesus and how he changed his life, but when he actually got into the details of that moment, it just began to change their life. And what it did was it restored a joy of their salvation. And his story has impacted so many people. And so I just love telling those stories of transformation, but it was inspired all because of 100 Huntley Street. And I just want to encourage people that if they could become a monthly partner or monthly member, $26, less than $1 a day, how many more lives can this ministry begin to change through the power of storytelling?
Thank you so much, Rob, for being here. You can change a life today. You can help us to continue to tell those amazing stories. Again, 1-800-265-3100, or go online, crossroads.ca/hope. Give the gift of hope and story today. Let's head up to the pledge lines with Greg.